your body talks to you all the time.
Okay.
And because men are not really taught to be in tune with their body outside of sexuality, it's hard for you guys to identify when something in your body feels off. But you all are so intuitive. And that's something that I've learned being married. Like my husband is probably one of the most intuitive people I've ever met in my life.
Really?
And he had no idea he was intuitive until I told him.
Welcome back to the podcast. I started this podcast as a way to help Black men in all aspects of our lives. Studies show on average we lose 2.8 years of our life when we're under heavy stress. And I think we can gain those 2.8 years back if we express ourselves healthily. Stick with me as I interview therapists, doctors, advocates, activists, and friends about how we can be better as Black men and as a Black community. If you're not subscribed to us on YouTube and following us on Instagram and TikTok, you'll definitely want to do that. Without further ado, let's get into the episode.
We are back with another episode. I'm here with Dani and Alicia of the Triggered AF podcast. Yes. Right? So you guys have a podcast. You guys also do coaching, a bunch of different things. First of all, before we get into the conversation, I need you guys to introduce yourselves. Explain what it is that you guys do, what you guys are passionate about.
I am Dani Bordeaux. I am a wellness coach and the co-host of the Triggered AF podcast. And I'm just happy to be here. Thank you so much for having us in advance.
For sure.
And I facilitate coaching, one-on-one coaching sessions and group sessions for people to help them kind of tap into more of a nutrition-based program where they are able to increase and improve their metabolism, their relationship with food, the way they view food, the way they view health, and all the good stuff.
Yes.
Alicia?
And what she didn't say is that she is a master change expert for the folks who think that you cannot change the way you eat and your relationship with food. It is a lie. You want to make sure you tap in with her.
Yes.
And so, hey y'all, I am Alicia Reese. I am an international speaker and host. I am a transformation coach and all-around dope human. Literally like warm tea and Hennessy, depending on the day. Depending on the day. I help folks create lives that feel as good as they look.
I saw that in your bio. I was like, yo, I like that warm tea. Because it really gave me like, I was like, yo, this is a well-rounded individual.
Right. And is.
Because sometimes you need a little Hennessy and sometimes you need a little warm tea.
Yeah. We always say like we back that thing up and we would like sit at like the queen's table with the finest of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And you gotta have that duality. I love it.
You must.
I love it. I absolutely love it. With that being said, Dani, we were having a very interesting conversation before this podcast. And I had no intention of talking to you about food. Right? And I know it was on your bio. But I was like, these dudes don't care. They want to eat fried chicken, right? Like, I ain't trying to, nobody trying to hear about broccoli and that. So can you please tell me what you were talking about before we started talking about the podcast? 'Cause I think that's very, very important. And I think that's also an incentive for some men to eat better.
Yeah, so we were talking about like how to improve your chances or increase your chances of having a boy versus a girl, or how to just increase your chances, period, of having a child.
Right.
A healthy one.
A healthy child. And what I was gonna say is so much of the responsibility and the weight of childbearing is on the woman and her health and her way of living and being. And there's just not a lot of conversation about the men and the role they play and how often they're the reasons why a child can be brought into this world. There are so many instances of impotency or where there's not enough sperm or their sperm doesn't swim fast enough or their sperm gets there and it doesn't survive because the sperm is not strong enough. And a lot of that has to do with diet and lifestyle. But because we're like, oh, the girl is barren, she can't have kids, it's all on her, something's wrong with you. And as women, we own that. Men just don't think that they play that big of a role. But the health of the man is also just as important as the health of the woman in child conception.
And also too,
Answer that, please.
You guys determine, like the placenta, which is the baby's house, has your DNA in it.
Okay.
So what you eat, how you are, that determines the type of home you will be providing for that baby while your woman is carrying that child.
Yeah, so
So we're furnishing the home, basically.
You have a lot of stake in it. It's not just the looks and if they have your eyes or if they get your height.
Right.
It's also like the health and the quality of that baby is determined by the sperm that's already in you and how you're treating yourself. Like you play a much bigger role than just like, oh, he has your eyes. Like, oh, you
Right,
look
right.
just like the daddy. Like, that's
Right.
cute.
Yeah.
But like, we can have healthier children. Or like I said, just increasing the chances of conception. So many women have a hard time now conceiving.
Right.
And everyone thinks it's the woman. But I mean, there's a lot of science now that shows that men play a major role in that.
Man, I have a whole script and I am now completely like, no, we have to talk about this. So with that being said, I'm a guy that goes to the gym 4 times a week.
Okay.
Not to brag.
Good.
You know. Not everybody can get there that many times.
Right.
What are some things that we need to do? For the guy that's like, man, I'll hit the gym every so often, but I really love me some fried chicken and fries.
Or some pork.
I love me some pork fried rice.
You can have that.
Right. So what else can we do to improve our chances? Because there's a lot of guys that right now, like, they may not be living a lifestyle that you're saying that they need to live. So like, what are the things that we need to tangibly do to get to that place where we're having healthier children and we're increasing the odds of like being able to furnish the home, the placenta the right way?
So I think the first thing is don't cut out, add in.
Okay.
Because once you start telling your body you're going to take something away from it, immediate resistance, right? Your body's going to be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Why can't we eat fried chicken anymore? Why can't I have this soda? Why? Your body is going to feel like you're trying to kill it. So it's going to resist. So you need to, don't just talk about what you need to cut out. Think about what you can start adding in.
Okay.
And then eventually you can cycle out the things that may not be as good. So if you like fried chicken, eat fried chicken, but maybe like have a salad before your fried chicken. Right? Or maybe with your fried chicken, have a side of green beans or have a side of something, another vegetable that you like. Maybe there's 3 vegetables on earth that you like, eat those, right? Before or with the fried chicken.
Right.
There's something that I would tell my clients to do, especially if they have a really hard time with cravings, is vinegar does a really good job of keeping your blood sugar balanced when you're eating.
Really?
So a salad that has a balsamic vinegar or vinegar-based dressing, eating that, or any vegetable that's pickled, things that are soaked in like pickled things or vinegar things or things that are fermented, when you eat that before you eat something that may not be so good, it can help lower your blood sugar spike. So that can help keep your blood sugar stable, which if you don't know much about blood sugar, it's not just for diabetics. We all are impacted by blood sugar spikes and things like that. And those things lead to weight gain. They can lead to other illnesses. They can lead to diabetes over time with your blood sugar spiking. So that's one of the main things, is like having a little salad with some balsamic vinegar. We like that. Black people like balsamic vinegar. Some Italian dressing sometimes has some vinegar in it. Eating like a small salad and then maybe having your fried chicken. Just adding in some of the good stuff as opposed to focusing so much on what you don't get to have anymore. Or the second thing that I suggest is finding healthier ways to make those things, right? So say you like fried chicken. A lot of the problem with fried chicken is not the chicken itself, it's the oil you're frying it in. So you're frying it in the seed oil, which is inflammatory. Take that oil and change it to a better oil, coconut oil, avocado oil. Don't do it in olive oil. That's not a good idea. But like a high heat point oil that is better than a seed oil, which is like a vegetable oil or a grapeseed oil that most people fry chicken in. Choose a better quality oil. Choose organic chicken. Choose organic flour to batter in. Use organic eggs to add to that batter that you're dipping it in. Find a better way to eat the same thing. It doesn't have to be cut out, but maybe you can improve the quality of that thing that you're eating.
Man.
Right?
Mic drop.
I
There's
am
ways.
learning.
There are
And you
ways.
clearly had this conversation with some chicken lovers. Because I know you have a recipe that you done gave them already.
Look, you can have your fried chicken.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
But there are just other ways to still have the same thing.
Wow.
Just make adjustments. You don't have to just live this life eating. You're not a rabbit.
Right.
You don't have to eat carrots and grass and all this stuff all the time to be healthy. You can still eat your ethnic foods, but you may just have to tweak it a little bit.
Alicia, pardon me. I have another question.
No, listen, I love listening to her. So we don't have that issue.
Okay.
I love listening to her speak because she's so passionate
Yeah, she
about
is,
it.
right? Yeah.
And she's so informed. And I love not taking things away from people because most people will try and fight you. Have you ever tried to take a toy from a kid? They're going to immediately fight you. However, if you say, oh my God, look at this new thing. Look at how it moves and shakes.
But
I'm
I
like,
think we never
yeah.
have that problem because we really admire each other and like the work we do individually.
Mhm.
So it's just always just like, I want to hear her talk. She wants to hear, like,
Yeah.
we're very
Yeah,
much
I'm
like
sitting up here
that.
like a proud little mama, just a smiling.
I know, I
look at
see
my
you,
boo.
right?
Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
love that. That's
Yeah.
never like a.
Listen,
Never a
look,
threat.
I promise you, we're gonna get into the rest of the questions. But I just got one more question.
Listen, you got to go deep. Learn.
Yeah,
She's
I know.
here. You got to do all the
I'm
things.
learning right now, and I really like. I always tell people the podcast. I put the podcast up for everybody, but the podcast is really for me.
that too. Don't I say
The
that?
pod-
I say that all the time. I'm like, okay, well, this is for me.
Yeah, no, seriously, right? And so once we started having that conversation, I said, yeah, forget the script. Let me just make sure I ask these questions
Of
right
course,
now.
of course.
So the next question that I have, right? You're talking about blood sugar levels.
Yes.
I get a lot of like cravings for something sweet at night.
Okay.
I need me like a cookie or like cinnamon toast crunch, like 3 bowls though. Like not even just one, like
Okay.
after dinner. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's late,
Okay.
right? So I need me something sweet. What I realized though, I started drinking more water and those cravings have lessened a little bit. They're not all the way gone, but they've lessened a little bit. So I wanted to ask you about that because that's something that I deal with and I don't think it's necessarily the best thing in the world. And I have a fast metabolism right now, so it's not really catching up to me.
And you in the gym 4 times a week.
And I'm in the gym 4 times a week, so I'm working it off. But I do feel like it's not a healthy habit to continue. So I wanted to ask you about that, if there's some ways that I can kind of curb that.
Yeah.
Because Naima was always talking to me about that, and I know she's probably, you know what I'm saying, so.
She'd be thankful.
So you know how we had a conversation and you said emotions are data?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are cravings.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
So cravings are data as well.
Okay.
They're signals that your body gives you when you are deficient in something, right? So a lot of times when you are craving something, so say you're craving like a nice piece of chocolate, you just want like a Snickers. You're like, oh my God, or like a chocolate chip cookie.
Okay, yeah.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Now,
we're
yeah,
talking
I'm a cookie
here.
girl
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
I
yeah.
get it, right?
Yeah.
So you should
I need
take-
me a sugar cookie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
chocolate, things like that. So a lot of times you're deficient in magnesium.
Magnesium.
Right. Do you take a magnesium supplement?
A mag who?
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, that's
I
the
don't.
truth. When I take my magnesium pills, because you can ask Dani, I have extreme sweet cravings.
We were
like
just
they
there
are
in the store
extreme.
and she was like, oh my God, look at the cake. It's calling me. I'm like, let's keep.
Let's keep it.
It's extreme. Like I won't even buy it in my house. Like I don't keep those types of sweets in my house.
It's
because
if you see it.
it's if I see it.
Yeah.
I'm good if I don't see it.
Mm.
But if it presents itself, I must.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't even go looking for it. But when I take my magnesium supplements,
Mm.
then cravings are like kind of non-existent because what I'm missing is satisfied through the supplements.
So magnesium. Or another
Really?
example. So you're craving something greasy,
Okay.
right? Like you want like some French fries,
Mm.
burger, which all burgers are not bad. But say you just want something like salty, greasy, slice of pizza, something like that.
Yeah.
Right? Okay,
Yeah.
so that probably means you need to get your omega-3s up. You need some fish oil,
Ooh.
right? Your body's craving healthy fats, but you don't know to think of healthy fats. So your body's like, well, I need fat from somewhere.
Right.
Somebody give
Last
me the
time I
fat.
had this, it was pizza.
Yeah,
So let's get some pizza.
I'll siphon the 2% from that,
Right,
right? Because you
right.
ain't gonna give me the avocado, you're not gonna give me the nuts and the seeds and the salmon. So I'm gonna tell you to give me some pizza because, good Lord, I need some omega-3s, right?
Wow.
So your body is constantly communicating to you. But if your body is speaking a language that you don't understand, you're just gonna do some other shit and you think that that is what you need to do. But every time you have a craving, especially for something sweet, you should start thinking about your magnesium, especially Black people think about your vitamin D levels because we all are vitamin D deficient as Black people, especially Black men. So those are things that you should start to think about. Like, okay, like what's my iron looking like?
Right.
If I'm craving, like I know for me, like when I start like all of a sudden I was like, I was man, I can probably assume that my iron levels are low and my body is like, hey, we need some iron in here. So your body is always talking to you, but your body kind of whispers at first. And then as illnesses start to set in because you didn't listen to the whispers, it gets a little louder. And then eventually it like screams at you. And then that's what I would consider when diseases start to really present and manifest themselves in form of cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, stroke, whatever it is. It can really play a part. But the other part of that is we focus so much on food, but your mental wellness can play a part in your cravings, like stress. Stress, when you're stressed, it releases cortisol, and cortisol makes the fat sit in your body and it creates like fat deposits in your body. So it's not just about what you're eating, it's also about your mental space. You could eat a salad every day, but if you're so stressed out, your body is not focused enough on the digestion that it don't matter if you have a salad every day. It can also not matter that you go to the gym 4 times a week. You can still get sick because your mental space and what your body has to go through all the time to keep you alive and the level of stress on your body is just too much. So it's we talked about before holistic wellness, where you can't just have the 4 times a week workout, but you're eating 4 bowls of cinnamon toast crunch.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like you can have one bowl. You can have one bowl, or is there a version of cinnamon toast crunch that has less sugar? Can you use organic grass-fed milk? Can you buy a version of it where you add your own sugar so that you understand the quality of the sugar that you're putting in there? Like when I bake cookies, I love chocolate chip cookies. So I think we bond on chocolate chip.
Yeah.
Okay, I make my own instead of buying them because I know exactly what's in it, right? I know there are no endocrine disruptors and hormone disruptors. I know that there's nothing in there that's gonna poison me, and there's no red 40 and yellow, like, you know what I'm saying? So just kind of going to a space or finding companies that make better quality ingredients. But I think that the cravings, like I said, are data, and you should try to figure out, you can Google, like, okay, I'm craving this, what does that mean? Or like, if you feel like you're in a space where you can't fight the craving, then there's something deeper going on. Because sometimes your relationship with food is not what it should be, right? So if you can't fight the craving, find something else to replace it with that's a little healthy. You have a sweet tooth, grapes are sweet.
And they
so
are
pineapples.
Yeah.
Grapes.
I promise. I call it nature's candy. Like that's what I tell my daughter. Like it's nature's candy, and it's the same thing as like a muscle when you're working out. Like the less sugar you eat over time, things will, like when I drink juice, I'm like, oh my God. Like I add water to juice. Like I'm that person.
Really?
I'm not even 60. Like I think you're supposed to do that in your 60s. I'm in my 30s and I'm like, let's need some water. Because over time, I just don't have a sweet tooth like that. When I'm pregnant, I get like sweet cravings, but not really anymore. And I used to, so it's not like I was just born like that. Like I love candy, I love gummy bears, I love Sour Patch Kids. Like I like it, but I just know that like just a little bit is good. And if I really like can't help myself, then I will replace it with something that I know is healthier.
Yeah, and also too, you say you eat it at night. Usually creatives work a lot at night. So you're going to have to retrain your body to reach for something different. Right now, your body is in the habit of reaching for the bowls of cereal, and you can't just have one. I too used to struggle a lot with having to succumb to all of my cravings because I have an extreme sweet tooth. My mother had an extreme sweet tooth. Like
she said her sweet tooth is genetic.
It is genetic. It's bad. Listen. And so what I do now is instead of keeping a bunch of candy or things that I can pull on, because like I said, I understand the creative energy when you're working at night. I now have so many fruits in my fridge that are sweet enough for me that when I need candy or I need something sweet, I do have the grapes, or I have the watermelon, or I have the guava, or I have something that I really, the rambutan, like rambutan. I don't know how you pronounce that. Y'all let me know in the comments or something. But I'll have those things that are incredibly sweet for me so that, yes, I may be eating late, but I'm eating something that's a bit healthier than my Publix cupcake, although I love you Publix cupcakes.
I have a question for you.
What's
like,
up?
That I would ask a client that does this.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you eat throughout the day? Like what's a rundown of like, say you wake up, like what are you typically eating?
Naeem was staring at me right now. So I'm sorry. She's like, I'm sorry. Cause Naeem,
You got some McDonald's in there?
No. Hell no. Whoa, nah. We go to McDonald's probably, we can count on our hands how many times we go to McDonald's throughout the year, honestly. And most of the time it's only for fries, honestly. Like, to be honest, because we probably need that fish oil.
Right.
Yeah, see, I'm listening. All right. But now, let me get back to the question, right? So, what I eat on a normal day is I don't like making breakfast. But I told Naima, because she's been on me about breakfast. She said, you need to eat breakfast, right? I told her, look, yo, ackee, saltfish, and dumpling.
Okay.
If we learn that, babe, I will eat that every day.
I can teach you how to make that.
Please.
Yeah, I make a meat, ackee, and saltfish. Yeah.
And Dani took her ass off.
I need that.
That's a great breakfast. Okay, but right now, in this world now, you don't
in the future world. In the future world.
Okay, but in this world.
In this world, smoothie. I have a smoothie for breakfast.
What's in your smoothie?
No, don't. Yo, relax. You heard that, right? Yo,
Is
relax.
it a smoothie or a milkshake? I'm just
No. It's not a milkshake.
Okay.
It's not a milkshake. So,
different.
I'm gonna give you out a recipe because I actually think it's a good smoothie, but you're gonna let me know at the end.
I will.
Okay. 3 bananas.
Okay.
Danny's like,
So it's hella sweet.
it gets sweeter. So just hold on. That's the base, okay? 3 bananas. We got 1.5 cups of coconut water.
Okay.
Then we have a mix of pineapples, strawberries, and mango.
Okay.
And that's it.
There's no protein in your smoothie?
Bro?
Okay.
No.
Okay. I'm asking this question for a reason. What's for lunch? So that's all you had is a smoothie.
Yeah. That's I get that at around 9:30ish. Do my Bible
What
study.
time did you wake up?
6.
Okay. So it's 3 hours before you put something in your body. Have you had any water at this point?
Yeah, because I went to the gym.
You've had some water.
Yeah, I've had at least 2 bottles of water.
Have you had some like pre-workout or something?
Pre?
Okay, you don't do workout.
No.
No, that's fine. I'm just asking.
No. Every time you ask me something that I don't do, I'm just gonna say pre-what.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so
you
no.
had a smoothie. Okay, now we're at lunch. What happened? What time are you eating the lunch and what are you having?
I'm real standard at lunch. So my smoothie, I'm normally like halfway done with it by lunchtime. It's a big smoothie. I ain't gonna lie. It's not a regular like cup. It's like at least 3. Whatever you think, just multiply it by 3. Okay.
So it's like 30 ounces?
24
It's like a
ounces.
Stanley cup? Like 40 ounces?
It's like 30 to 40 ounces for sure. So that'll hold me over until lunch. And then lunch, I'm eating whatever's in the crib. So it's like rice and chicken and veggies or something.
Okay.
And I'm the type of guy, if we made the meal and it's there, why do I need to go find something else for dinner? We're gonna eat the same thing for dinner. So I would eat that. I even think something crazy, but I'll eat the same meal 5 days in a row.
Well, that's a good way to eat healthy.
5 days in a row, 2 times a day.
Oh,
I have no problems with that.
that's awesome.
I have no problems with that.
Oh my goodness, that's great.
I can go into Sunday if I need to.
Okay. And it's usually what for dinner?
It's usually like
The same thing.
I cannot have a meal without rice.
Mm.
You know my hot take is?
What?
A restaurant is not a restaurant if they don't have at least one meal with rice in it.
Oh, okay.
That's an interesting take.
Okay. So you have
Obviously, I
dinner.
haven't been to very much. They're like, we gotta get him out of here. Yeah, he don't go
Okay, do
out
you
here.
have vegetables on the plate?
Sometimes. It depends,
Sometimes, so
you
not
know,
every time.
it depends
So
on the
just
week.
chicken and rice, you good?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, chicken and rice. You
Okay.
give me a little gravy. Gots to have gravy.
Gots to have gravy. Okay.
Gots to have
Okay,
gravy.
and then and then you'll have dinner around what time?
I'm looking at Naima. We're not really good with our dinner schedule. So dinner
No
probably like on a good day, 8.
Okay.
On a bad day, 10.
10. Okay.
Yeah.
And then after that is usually the snack, the cookie, the
After that,
the cereal.
I need me a cookie.
What time is that? Like midnight, 1 o'clock?
That's not a whoa. Nah. I'm sleeping by 11:30 now.
Okay.
I've trained my body like, yo, bro, you gotta be asleep. Actually, not 11:30. I lied. 10:30.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta be in bed by
Oh, so you eating like right before bed? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Like
and
I
then,
said.
Okay. Now I'm gathering
Mhm,
information.
mhm.
Last question is, how much do you weigh?
right now
Yeah.
at this present moment.
Yeah.
In today, in this world.
And
right
In
now.
this
I'm joking,
reality.
I'm joking. So I'm 171, but I fluctuate. Like I can go to 175. Like the other day, that's so interesting. The other day, like I was 175 at night.
Mhm.
But I know if I weigh myself in the morning, I'll be 171.
Yeah, because of that water and stuff you've eaten is just kind of sitting there.
I need my body to stay at 175.
Oh. Okay. Well, so now are you ready?
You
ready for
let me
it?
tell you what's wrong. Okay.
No, it's not what's wrong.
No, I get
It's
you, I
all
get
an
you.
opportunity, right?
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
what's
yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
So what I hear you
Mhm.
saying is that you don't consume enough protein.
Mm.
Low protein is
Mhm.
it's like the easiest way to have cravings and to have specifically sweet cravings. Your protein is
Really?
entirely too low for someone your age, your height, your size, the amount that you work out. You don't even consume half of the protein that you should be consuming based on what I hear you say. Your smoothie not having protein in it is wild.
Especially for 40 ounces.
That is juice. You make juice every morning. Okay, that's not a smoothie. Stop calling it a smoothie. Call it flavored. Call it an icy. And you might as well just go to 7-Eleven, dog, and get you the blueberry raspberry joint, because that is not a smoothie. That is ice.
Nah, Danny, I'm about to kill him.
Okay.
Nah. Okay, go ahead. Continue. I need this.
Okay.
I really know what I'm doing something.
He was like, I think it's a good smoothie.
No.
Just crushed his
You know how many people I need that recipe to?
Stop giving me. Go back and let him have an update. Okay?
A software
I
update.
have adjusted the recipe. Please. Not consuming
my God.
protein in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that.
Nah, you got me sweating.
Okay.
We're going
Not
to
see.
You gotta have protein in every single meal
Oh,
based on your weight. So, for example, you should be eating about 1 gram of protein per pound that you weigh.
Okay.
So you should be eating around 170 grams of protein a day, which is about 30 to 40 grams, a little bit more, maybe like 40 to 50 grams of protein per meal.
Put that in number of
Yeah.
chicken wings.
About to say
Okay.
legs.
Because
Alright.
I don't like
Okay,
you talking
so
about
your
grams.
average, I'll do chicken breast.
Okay, chicken breast. Yeah.
So the average chicken breast, a regular cutlet without the skin and all that stuff,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
gonna give you somewhere between like 25 and 30 grams of protein,
Oh, so I need. Damn.
right? Just the breast. No, but I'm gonna tell you how to get to it. I'm
Okay,
gonna
yeah,
give
yeah.
you a couple meals, right?
Mhm.
You have a plate, you have a chicken breast.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you have the chicken breast, maybe you do a chicken breast and a half, maybe you do 2 chicken breasts.
Mhm.
That's okay,
Mm-hmm.
right? Your rice is gonna give you, depending on the rice, if it's brown rice, it's gonna have a little more, very low protein, maybe 6 grams of protein per cup.
Yeah,
Maybe not
yeah.
that much, maybe a little less, depending on how you make it.
Mm.
Then your vegetables, you can have some options with some good vegetables. Some vegetables have good protein, but the problem with plant-based protein is your body's not always absorbing it the same way.
Really?
And a
Okay.
lot of times to have the plant-based protein be absorbed the right way, it needs to be combined with something else.
Like
right?
what?
So, like for example, if you want the iron to be absorbed with your spinach, you need something that has vitamin C in it,
Okay.
right? Like an orange,
Mm,
right? Or
okay.
otherwise it's not
So
gonna
orange and the spinach sounds
No,
disgusting.
no, no. I'm not saying in the spinach. I'm just giving you an
Okay, no, I get you. I got
example.
you.
Like
Yeah,
other
I'm
things
good.
have vitamin C too, but I'm just giving you an example of just because it's in the plant doesn't mean that you're
Right.
vitamins, supplements, all that. What matters most is absorption. You could eat 10,000 milligrams of whatever vitamin you want, and if your body's just like at the end, it don't
Right,
matter.
right,
You can
right,
eat
right,
it. That's
right.
like one of the tricks of the vitamin game is they don't
Right.
talk enough about absorption. But to get back on track, you're not eating enough protein in a nutshell. Because you're not eating enough protein, you're having cravings that you feel like you can't really control because you're not satisfied, especially if you're eating it late at night. All day long, you've been starving yourself. And at night, your body's like, give me something before I kill you, right? And then your
Before I kill
body
you.
is just reaching for whatever is there.
Ah.
If you eat enough protein throughout the day, then you'll be fine. So you would need to eat a meal. So for example, say you have your chicken breast, you have your rice, you have, what's a vegetable that has a lot of protein? Beans have a lot of protein. You can get a lot of protein from beans, like a cup of black beans, chickpeas.
What about
white beans.
baked beans?
Baked beans,
Okay.
that's fine. They tend to have sugar and be a little sweet, but okay,
Come
I'm
on.
gonna work with you.
2 things.
Beans are beans. I'll deal with that.
Okay. All right.
Right? But you shouldn't have more rice than protein and vegetables on your plate. So your number one thing should be like vegetables,
Danny.
then your protein, then your simple carb.
Danny.
I'm just saying, you asked.
I listen.
Yeah. That breakfast, you should be eating. Can you take those 3 bananas out and eat 3 eggs? Like
3 what?
3 eggs.
Hell no.
Really? You don't like
I
eggs?
hate eggs.
You hate eggs.
hate.
What do you like as breakfast food? That's crazy.
My juice. my smoothie.
Okay.
I thought it was juice.
Buy some protein powder
Okay.
and throw some protein powder in. That's
Okay. So what's a good protein powder that's not gonna have me like wilding out?
what does protein powder usually do to you?
It doesn't do anything to me. I just don't want to take something that's going. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just a little worried about what I put into my body.
Are you?
Dammy.
You think so?
Jesus. I thought I was doing okay.
You are doing okay.
No,
You're doing
this is
great.
that
Okay,
radical
okay.
honesty.
This is what I'm saying, and I love it. I
We want
really
you
do
to
love
do
it.
great, not
I do
okay.
love it. Okay,
You're doing
okay.
okay. We want you to do excellent.
Okay.
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 I prefer, for me, and just because I'm not vegan or vegetarian, things like that, and I don't typically promote like one specific extreme diet, I think for men, 100% grass-fed whey protein.
Whey protein.
But
Okay.
grass-fed quality, not with a bunch of fillers and added sugars and stuff like that. Something that, because for me, with men, I feel like they resist the plant-based proteins because they have like a chalky texture, and men don't typically eat that. So, or like that. So I would just suggest like 100% grass-fed or organic whey protein. Add 2 scoops of that. That'll give you the 40 grams right there of protein. And then try to limit all the fruit in there. And if you must have fruit, can you put like strawberries, blueberries, blackberries? 1 banana is good, not 3.
Dang.
And take out the pineapple and the mango.
What?
Yeah, or cut it in half.
Danny.
Cut it in
I'm
half.
trying to work with you here.
Yeah.
You're not working with me.
And then I'm not done. And then add some vegetables, like add a scoop of spinach.
A
You won't
scoop
taste
of
it.
It
what?
takes a little bit, but
A scoop of who?
spinach.
Nah.
Kale?
We gotta take some baby steps. I like kale.
Okay.
But you put kale in a smoothie, it takes over the whole smoothie because
It
kale is
depends
so
on it.
It
bitter.
depends on how you make it.
Wait, nah, it depends because if I take the stalk out, then I'll probably be all right.
Yes.
But
I
the
was gonna
stalk,
say
I
cut
feel
it.
like the stalk is like the whole, isn't that like a big part of it though?
No, you'll be fine with just the leaves. You'll be all right. We're gonna choose the lesser of 2 evils right now.
Danny,
Baby steps.
if you're gonna
honey.
give me all these, I really need you to give me like, can you give me
You
a
gotta
smoothie
become a
recipe?
client now.
I can
Yeah.
give you a smoothie recipe.
Yeah, I need a smoothie recipe.
Okay.
I will really try it, and I'll tell you if it's like, if this ain't working, like,
Okay,
then
that's
we may
good.
need
You
to
like
edit-
peanut butter?
yeah, peanut butter's all right, but in my smoothie,
I'm just saying. We gotta get it in. So what do you have goals or not?
I do have goals.
Okay.
I
You
got
gotta-
goals, Danny, but
Then you
I
gotta
just,
put forth certain actions if you plan on reaching
If
the
you,
goal.
I know,
you
but-
can get yourself to the gym 4 days a week, which is so hard, you can make the other adjustments with food. It's just
I can make the adjustments.
You
It's
just don't want
just, food is like my escape sometimes.
so it's your relationship with food.
It is my relationship with food. It is.
What are you escaping? Why do you need to escape?
Escaping the world, these people crazy, man. But but you know, like when I sit down and I'm eating a meal, like a meal is a break for me. As a man,
Okay.
it's a real thing. That's a real thing. Like, they'll tell you, like lunchtime is break time, right?
Yes,
We eat lunch during our break.
And you wanna
And I want my break to
be
be
enjoyable.
an enjoyable experience. If I go into my break, I'm peanut butter, spinach, kale in my smoothie? That's not a smoothie.
But you haven't tasted it yet.
I got, okay,
give me
let
this
me
juice.
open mine.
Give me some juice. It is a smoothie.
I'm really taking that back home. I'm gonna really make that tomorrow. I'm like, damn, this is really juice. This is some weird juice.
That's all
though.
it is.
It's great
Your
though.
blood sugar. You blew the lid off your house every morning. You're like, your blood sugar's like, help! Help me! It's high up here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew I was gonna be laughing with y'all.
So main thing, main takeaway, up your protein.
Okay.
Take that and
Okay.
Take that.
do
Oh,
with it what
maybe
you
not.
will.
I need that recipe for real.
Okay.
Don't let these cameras turn off and then you
I
forget
get
about
you
me.
a protein-based
Okay.
recipe.
All
Or a
right.
smoothie, not a juice.
Not
Yeah. All right. And don't give me nothing with no eggs. I can't do eggs in the morning.
Okay.
Ackee and saltfish is the closest I'm gonna get to eggs.
You like oatmeal?
Yeah, I have some. I actually got some oatmeal in the crib right now.
Nah.
But my oatmeal is like, see, now I can talk to you about my oatmeal right now because you're gonna tell me you gotta take this out, put water in, and no. I don't want to hear it right now. I can't.
Okay. I'll tell you
I've
off
reached-
camera.
Yeah, off camera we'll talk about the oatmeal.
Okay.
But I want to get back to something. You talk about stress, not. You said stress is something that, if we are experiencing a lot of stress as men, like that can hinder all the work that we're doing on
Yes.
ourselves.
Yeah.
And you guys have a podcast, Triggered AF,
Mm-hmm.
where you talk about triggers, which relates to stress. So can we talk about that real quick? Can y'all talk about, first of all, what is a trigger in the first place? Right? Because some folks probably don't even know what a trigger is. So let's start real basic and let's get into everything else.
All right.
Yeah.
So how I define triggers
Mm-hmm.
is a trigger is a response to a stimulus.
Okay.
And what that is, stimulus or stimuli, because it could be multiple things, right?
Mhm.
So a trigger is anytime someone bumps into me because I've been maybe pushed around in life, I respond in negative ways. The trigger was me being bumped.
Mm.
My response to it is I'm going off on them, I'm calling them out, I'm whatever. It literally is your response to a stimuli, whether it's someone hugging you too tightly because you were held down as a child and now you're afraid, Or it could be something good, right? Where a trigger is every single time I see my daughter take one of the lessons that I have taught her and she puts it out, she actions that, my trigger to her talking to me is extreme. Like the trigger is her telling me that she just did something. So it's just a response to a stimuli that reminds you of something good or bad for me. Dani, what do you think?
I would say it's the same. Yeah, I would say the same thing. Only for me, I don't typically associate triggers with something.
Oh,
Maybe that's the difference. For me, it's the stimuli from something painful or traumatic or
I
something
see.
negative.
I see. I want to ask you, Alicia, because you were talking about you coach like entrepreneurs, like leaders, like folks that are like in business and like corporate America and stuff. How do we navigate the triggers that we experience when we're in these like business settings and business environments? Like, how do we navigate those, especially as Black men? Because it's I feel like sometimes for us, we can't do the things that other demographics can do.
yeah.
Especially in these corporate settings or in these business settings, we have to show up a
Absolutely.
certain way,
Absolutely.
a different way. So how do
And
we
listen.
navigate those spaces?
So I always tell folks, your trigger, there's always a why behind it. And so if, let's say you're in a situation where you are constantly triggered, I always like to ask and figure out, what is this stemming from?
Okay.
So I was in a corporate space with a young Black man, and every single time a certain white woman would speak to him, you could physically tell like his entire body would respond in angst to her interaction with him. And so I would ask him, you know, and this is before I was doing any healing work. This was just me being nosy. And I would ask him, I'm like, hey, like, what do y'all have beef? Like, have y'all ever had anything to happen between y'all? And he's like, no, it just does something to me when white women talk to me like that. And what I found out later is he had a girl who got him in some serious trouble, had almost gotten him put in jail.
Right.
And it was a white girl. So now anytime he has to have interactions with white women, it literally for him brings extreme angst, because he's like, if I fuck this up, it could be the end of my freedom. And so when you go back to the why behind, hey, what is this stemming from? But that does mean you have to take time. You don't need to do it when you're drinking. You don't need to do it when you trying to, play with God's other children. Like, you need to be alone to figure out, what is this stemming from? Where did it come from?
Right.
And then what can I do to help resolve this? Because he can't go back to when he was a teenager with that young woman who was a white girl and change that. He cannot. But what he can do is go back and say, you know what? That situation was really, really messed up. I did not deserve that. And also what it taught me was to ensure that I don't place myself in circumstances and situations where I am now unprotected, because everyone is not honest.
Ooh. So my follow-up question to that is, like, when we're experiencing these triggers, what can we do to stay like grounded? Because I feel like sometimes we have, like, he probably had a physical response, probably even reminding him of the situation that he was in the past, and maybe like fight or flight, all these different kind of things.
Yeah.
So what are some things that we can do to stay grounded so that we're not like making irrational decisions as a result of our triggers? Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in you have to create different defaults.
Okay.
Like, you can't keep responding the same way, the same time, because that's when the stress builds up, the cortisol. Like, you're in a constant state of fight, flight, or fawn.
Right.
Where, okay, I either got to fight to where, okay, now I'm getting in trouble for insubordination. I'm possibly losing my job. Your flight where you're just like, you know what, man, F all this. You flipping the table and walking out, and now you got to figure out how you're going to make money. Or fawn, where you just freeze, where you cannot function, you cannot move forward, you're stuck in a perpetual loop, right? So the first thing is to figure out, hey, does this particular person in this particular instance, in this particular circumstance, do they mean me harm? That's number one. And and again, this is where we gotta, tell ourselves the truth a little bit. Do they mean me harm, or am I perceiving it as them meaning me harm? Because those are two different things. Depending on or based on whatever it is that you come back with, the first step, as I always tell people is you want to create a different default. If you know that dealing with certain people causes major anxiety for you, you are going to want to come up with ways that help you calm your nervous system, because your nervous system feels like it's under attack. And so now you're spazzing out. You're about to have a panic attack. You are literally about to flip tables or go into the fetal position. Not a physical fetal position, but a fetal position nonetheless. So figure out what's going to be my default to when I'm triggered.
Right.
And I talked about it on a podcast episode before, where it's okay, are you going to tap? Are you going to completely remove yourself from the situation? Are you going to, hey, I would love to answer you right now, but I need a moment. Give me about 5 minutes. I'll be right back. If you cannot leave, I don't know how to answer that question for you right now. I'll have to respond in an email once I have more information. But figuring out what will my response be with these particular triggers. And what I always tell my clients to do is I need you to write out the triggers that you know. Write them out. Take a piece of paper, write them out. I know for me, a major trigger is men yelling at me.
Really?
If you yell at me, I was in an abusive marriage.
Okay.
If you yell at me, I will either one or two things, go into a fawn where I freeze and go into not a physical, but an emotional fetal position, or I will fight. There is no flight. I'm either fight or I'm a fawn. Ain't no in between.
Right.
So for me, it's a trigger. If you start raising your voice, I don't like it. Don't talk to me that way. Because to me, it means you're only a moment away from hitting me. So it's figuring out what are all of your primary triggers, tying them to the instance where you feel it began or occurred, and then identifying, hey, what is my traditional response? And then the last piece is, okay, what do I want my new response to be? So what will my new default be? So that's 4 columns. The first one, write out all your known triggers. The second column, write out what is the experience that you feel it brought about. Like, what was that? Where did it come from? That third column, how you normally respond. And then that last column, what you want your new default to be, or what you're going to try, because life is about trying. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to try some shit. Try to figure out, okay, if normally I fawn, now what I do, because I've done quite a bit of work, I'll tell them, hey, yelling at me will never get you the response you want. I am not going to respond the way you hope. You will need to speak to me a different way, or you'll never need to speak to me again. You get to choose.
All right, I'm interrupting this podcast episode to let you guys know to leave a review on the podcast. Please, 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 if you are listening to this episode and you're finding value in this episode, you're enjoying the conversation, or you've enjoyed a previous episode or conversation, and it's safe to operate your phone right now, please leave us a review. Your review is a free and easy way to support us, and it helps us reach more people like you. We're on a mission to build a stronger, more connected Black community, starting with Black men. And you can help us on that mission by taking a minute out of your day to leave a review. Your review helps us generate more listeners, which in turn generates more revenue, allowing us to expand the platform even further. So please take a few seconds out of your day. I know you're busy. I understand. I know you're doing a lot, but it will help us greatly if you would just take a few seconds out of your day to leave a review right now. Did you leave a review yet? All right, let's get back to the episode.
Boundaries. And can I add to that?
No, of course. Come on.
I want to add to when you talked about like what's something you can do. We talk a lot about breath work. And I am like, I need like a shirt. Like I need like something to be like breathe. Like I'm probably gonna tattoo.
Breathe so you can think.
Breathe. I tell my daughter, my 3-year-old, I've been telling her that since she was 1. Like breathe so you can think. There's so much power and value in taking a deep breath. It sounds it just sounds like it's something that's just like, oh yeah, take a deep breath. But I just working with so many people, and even without working with people, just knowing people, if I ask someone to take a deep breath, I want to say if I have told 10 people that, 8 people don't know how to take a deep breath properly.
Really?
We all assume that we know how to breathe properly when you need to take a deep breath, but most people don't know how to really take a deep breath. And
You should show us now.
And I will, but so many people are walking around not breathing properly and not even just knowing how to send oxygen to parts of their body, to their brain, to parts that may feel painful or aches in your body. You can literally send breath. Like I tied into in a spiritual way, like when they talk about God creating man, he breathed life into them. So for me, breath is like a direct connection to God. You breathe because God allows you to breathe. And that's like a way to connect your body to yourself. We're so disconnected from our bodies, which is ultimately disconnects us from God, and we don't breathe properly. So that is my other thing, is like teaching people how to breathe in those moments so that you can send oxygen to your brain to think through the trigger so that you can have a better response. So that your nervous system, and also the breathing regulates your nervous system in a way so that you can have a better response so you don't fight, flight, freeze, or fawn.
We have a tradition on this podcast where when guests like you guys say a lot of great stuff, we just give it a second to like just breathe the rest of the race. Honestly, right? Because literally, y'all just wow. And I have some questions, and we'll get into the questions. But my Lord, y'all just, yo. I was talking to Reggie, right? And we'll just do a little sidebar real quick while we let them process everything that we said. So I was talking to Reggie when Reggie and I did the podcast, and Reggie was like, yo, man, these girls, they so good. They just need a little push.
Our number one supporter.
They just need a little push. I'm like, Reggie, sure. Of course you're gonna say that, right?
He's a little biased.
Right, you're biased, bro.
But he's honest.
We'll see. Man.
Oh, thank you.
Reggie, listen, brother, you were right. Okay, you were right, for sure. Listen, man, I think y'all said so much good stuff just now, and then when you tied it in with God, I was just like, listen, that's just the icing on the cake, man, because I really feel like that's a bar. Like now I'm gonna be breathing differently now.
Yeah. How do you breathe now? Can you take a deep breath?
I can say I feel. You know, I don't know if I want to do it in front of you right now.
Okay, there's no
So what if we have solutions?
No,
right?
How about you just teach us all?
Yeah, teach us right
how
now.
to do a deep breath.
I know how to do it.
Do you?
I do. I feel like I know how to do it.
Okay.
So a deep breath. I take a deep breath through my diaphragm. So I'm just gonna ask you if that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
I want you to do it first.
Oh, he did it.
But normally I'm supposed to breathe through my. I'll breathe it out through my mouth.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're the 2 out of the 10, right?
I'm trying.
So okay, so you breathe great.
Okay.
Right, and that's how you should. That is how you take a deep breath. You do have to fill up your diaphragm. So when you inhale, your stomach should fill up like a balloon, which is what I'm sure you were taught, right? Or something like that.
Right.
So when you breathe in, your stomach should fill up like a balloon and expand, right? And you're filling your lungs and your body with all this wonderful oxygen, contaminated as it may be. And then as you exhale, you should be deflating the balloon and all the air should be breathing out.
Right.
You should not be filling up your chest, your cavity. That doesn't do anything.
But when you're having an anxiety attack, that's literally how you breathe.
Right. Or
you
because your chest gets tight, so your body's trying to
Yeah.
your chest gets tight, so your body's like, help, like loosen this up. I've had clients who literally cannot take a deep breath because they are so tight and wired, and they just don't even know. Like it feels so uncomfortable to take a breath.
Wow.
Right. There are women who sexually can't relax, and sex is painful for no other reason other than the fact that they're so tight
clenched
and wired, and they can't just relax.
Really?
So taking a deep breath it literally is a game changer, and taking it the correct way, not the way that we're taught, right? And holding your breath, right? You should be able to inhale, right? And push your stomach out and still fill up your breath and fill up your lungs and your body and your diaphragm with air, and then release it so that you can put all the stuff, all the, not so great things out, whether it's pain. Like I can send healing energy through breath work to aches that I might have, to thoughts that may not be great, like just allowing the breath of what I say, God, to continue to heal me and move me forward in life. But the breathing for in triggered situations is literally the answer. Like if you can't do all the other stuff because that's too hard or that's too much or you're not even there yet, start with your breath. Like start with taking a deep breath and take as many as you need. And there are even types of breath that you can take that send a message to your nervous system that you're calm, even if you're not.
What's the type?
So I call mine is a 5-5-7 breath.
Okay.
Right? Where you inhale for 5, you hold your breath for 5, and you release for 7. It doesn't matter if it's 5-5-7 or 4-4-6. It doesn't matter. You just need a period of time where you're inhaling, holding, and exhaling for longer than you did either of those two. right? And
Yeah.
for whatever reason, if you do that, say 10 times, it takes 2 minutes or less to do that.
Right.
If you do that, your body starts to feel like you're safe. It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter how much experience you have. It is like, it works.
Wow.
Yeah. So just finding simple things, even if you haven't done the work
Yeah.
to kind of know some of the things Alicia has said. If you don't know where to start with your breath.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're gonna give them a second real quick, y'all. So just to process all of that. I know. We gotta get out of here. But listen, y'all are saying so much good stuff, man. I almost lost my train of thought, but I know where we're going. I have a question because you guys are talking about known triggers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's very important. What about the men that know triggers are coming, but they don't really know what to do about it because they've had to deal with it so long that they're just used to responding to it a certain way? So like family events are coming up right now.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We got a holiday
Biggest triggers
season.
of
Trigger
all.
happy season.
Right.
Trigger happy.
We got the annoying aunt or maybe the abusive aunt that
Yeah.
maybe sexually assaulted me when I was younger that
Yeah,
we
that's
don't
a
even talk
thing.
about sexually because that's a thing.
Mhm.
Aunties be out here sexually assaulting
Yes.
some
we
of
have
the
lots
some of
women
the some of the
doing
young
those
some of the young boys, right? So that could potentially be happening, right? Or like my pops is not around, or I really don't like my mom like that, or
Yeah.
stepdad, I really don't like my steppops. Like I really
Yeah.
don't like him, but he's the only person that my mom can put up with right now. So I gotta deal with him during family. Like, so how do we navigate those type of like difficult, you know what I'm saying, interpersonal or like family relationships during the holiday season?
I mean, so I love a good boundary, and I teach my daughter often, you get to create whatever you want your experience to be,
Right.
in spite of how it may make someone else feel, because they're not caring about what your experience will be, and they continue with actions that either they know hurt you or that they just kind of couldn't care less as to whether or not it hurts you. So you get to decide what your experience will be, right? So you can do, I say it's about 3 things. The first one is you can decide whether or not you are going to continue sharing space with them and then create your own family. People don't understand or don't accept the fact that you don't have to stay, even if they are your blood family. You can decide that you are going to commune in times of love and connection, like the holidays where it's supposed to be that. You can commune with your chosen family. It does not, you can set a boundary that, hey, I have tried, I have talked to you, we have done the therapy, I have expressed myself, and you have made a conscious choice and decision that you will either not honor my boundaries, will not allow me the space that I say I need to process the fact that this auntie molested me, or because I have a girlfriend who her stepdad molested her and the mom stayed. You have made decisions that go against who I am, so I am going to make decisions that honor what I need.
Right.
So that's the first one, and that's the one I usually choose, okay?
Right.
But for those people who y'all like, no, I still love them, I want to be around, not a problem. We got something for that too. And give yourself a time limit, because usually they're good for the first 5 minutes to an hour. If you know that you still want to see these family members and commune with them, what is the time frame, and then what are going to be the topics that are completely off limits because the way in which they respond to you or speak to you or interact with you does not align for you? Okay, I got 30 minutes that I'm gonna spend with them so that I at least get my fill of family. They won't say that, oh, I just don't care about family. But I think at some point, especially for people of color, we have got to start honoring what our actual needs are. We ignore what we need so much. We deny how we feel. We're always out of our body where we're not. If I ask you to do a body scan, and a body scan is literally just closing your eyes, and you don't have to close your eyes, but I have to close my eyes. It's closing your eyes and then literally walking yourself down every part of your body to find out, what am I feeling? Bringing yourself back into your body, even maybe touching your body. Can I feel this? What am I experiencing? Am I enjoying this? Do I like this? So that second piece is give yourself a time limit. And that third one is you get to decide if you want to heal that relationship, right? And if you do want to heal that relationship, not during the holidays, because that's not the time. It's just not. Like, that's wrong
Too much
time.
is too charged.
It's too charged. But what you can do is, hey, as a gift, I would love for us to do this. Because it's a time of gift giving anyway. So as a gift, I would like for us to meet with this person or to speak with that person. They may or may not be open to it, but that particular suggestion or gift or, opportunity is now a chance for you to decide, okay, do I want to do option A or option B, which is to either, for me, boundary that motherfucker, where no, you don't, I get to now choose my family, or B, I get to put y'all on some time limits.
Yeah. I like that.
But you choose your experience.
Yeah.
I need us to understand that, like, you don't have to just accept it. Well, oh, they're family. I don't give a shit. You get to choose what you want your experience to be. And we need to start owning that power a lot more.
Yeah. I think sometimes that's hard for us as men because I feel like we have to put up with whatever we're given because we're men and we're supposed to be the protectors and providers. And so we're supposed to just put up with whatever and be able to truck through it because we're a man. And, so the answer just becomes you're a man. So just whatever. Just deal with it. Yeah. So I like the fact that you're like, nah, you get to choose because that's very important. Like that puts the power back in our hands and it also helps us with like self-accountability or personal accountability. Once I started learning about personal accountability, I literally have a reminder in my phone that says, hold yourself accountable today. Yeah. It goes off every day at 9:55 a.m.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so every day I see that, hold yourself accountable today. So anything that happens throughout the day, and I'm not accountable for everything, but it just helps me have a perspective shift. Like, okay, what can I do in these situations or this situation to kind of change my experience with it? Yeah. But before I had that like personal accountability, I used to just like life would just happen to me. And I feel like a lot of men are in places where like life is happening to them. Yeah. And they don't know how to like navigate that. They just feel like they have to accept that.
Well, because I feel like, honestly, men aren't taught to honor what they need because they're not taught to need anybody. You have to always be in a space and a place where I got it, I could take care of it, I could handle it. But you're not asking yourself enough, hey, what do I need? Right. I'm serving in all these different capacities. I'm sitting on the board, volunteering in my community. I'm taking care of my lady, making sure the kids are straight. I'm showing up for my business partners. But what do I need? Right. And because so many men, especially Black men, are asking themselves, what do they need? And not in the sense like, oh, I need another chick or, oh, I need another $1,000. Like, let's go a little deeper. Yeah. Let's go just a wee bit deeper. What do you need? What do you need to feel safe? What do you need to feel secure? What do you need to feel comfortable in your own skin? Right. Because there are lots of men who do not feel worthy of anything. Right. You don't feel worthy to receive. You don't feel worthy to be loved. You don't feel worthy to be thought about. Like, you don't feel worthy for people to give you a gift or to service you in ways that actually nurture you. So it, for me, goes back to being able to ask yourself and answer, what do I need? Because once you're able to get a really good, firm understanding of what that is, you move differently in the world because you're constantly seeking ways to provide for your needs, right? Not just your wants.
My Lord. Y'all are, man. Y'all are doing good right now. Jesus.
You said that to everybody.
No, I don't. I don't. Dani, I do not. Sometimes I start these podcasts and I'm like, this is gonna be a long one. And I'm gonna have to really reel us through this one. I'm gonna have to really make this one entertaining. Yeah. So when you see me like not talking, if I don't talk during a podcast, that means my guests are doing a great job. Like, honestly, if I'm doing, like, this is for the folks that are listening, if all you hear me doing is just segueing into the next question and the guests are just answering and I'm just like, then y'all doing a good job. Okay. Y'all are doing a great job. Yay. Right now, I'm not gonna have many reels. It's like, that's where we at right now. Some podcast episodes, I'm like, I got at least 5 to 6 of them days. And we rolling them days out. Right now, the team ain't grabbing a lot of me. Okay. All right, so that's, especially you earlier, you was wilding. You got into my diet. Damn.
I think there'll be quite a few from there, actually.
Yeah, no, for sure. They're gonna grab a lot from there. Man, I just want y'all to talk about, like, I wanted to get into like red flags a little bit. And just some ways that we can identify red flags, whether it be in like personal relationships or like professional relationships. Because I feel like sometimes we as men don't know when we're being taken advantage of.
Interesting.
Yeah, sometimes we don't
I believe that.
Yeah, sometimes we don't know. Like,
Sometimes we don't know either. I think that's a human experience.
right, like we
Yeah,
don't really
yeah.
know. We're like, should I be going and doing all this stuff and then I don't really get anything back in return? I mean, I think I am. Yo, what really niggas do? You take her out and she don't really be saying thank you and like. So I just want to talk about what are some ways in which we can identify when a relationship probably isn't in our best interest because we're not getting that reciprocity.
Yeah.
And like just how do we identify that in romantic relationships, but also maybe in professional or like family? Like, what are some things that we should look out for if you guys have anything?
Yeah, we talk about this all the
Okay.
time.
Okay.
I'm always going to take everything back to the body.
Okay.
Your body talks to you all the time.
Okay.
And because men are not really taught to be in tune with their body outside of sexuality, it's hard for you guys to identify when something in your body feels off. But you all are so intuitive. And that's something that I've learned being married. Like my husband is probably one of the most intuitive people I've ever met in my life.
Really?
And he had no idea he was intuitive until I told him.
Really?
I was like, you're so intuitive. Like you be knowing. And when I think back to the men in my life and men that I've dated or men that I'm friends with, I want to say most men are intuitive.
Okay.
They just don't really call it intuition because we think that's a female thing.
Oh, for sure.
We
yeah.
think intuition is for witches and women. And,
Yeah.
but men are highly intuitive. And if you think about it biologically, to be a hunter, you have to be intuitive. You must be able to feel the wind and feel where the animal is. If you look at predators, they are highly intuitive beings. But we just think intuition is something reserved for
women.
certain.
You just putting me on today, man.
Right, but if you think about it, I am
so
in
good.
awe sometimes at how intuitive men are, but it's also sad to see how many men don't even know that they have intuition to follow.
Right.
They don't even realize that, hey, I knew that stuff. You know, good and crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Or I knew that
yeah.
friend was shiesty.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's
there
like I
too.
knew I shouldn't have went, dog. Like,
Yeah.
and I hear men like,
Yeah.
I grew up with a lot of like male influence, and I have always seen men. Like when I started thinking about it, I was like, men be knowing, like
Yeah.
they know they
Yeah.
up
But they're
to
taught to
something.
ignore it.
But
too
you're
Yeah,
so, and I think we
yeah.
all are, but just for different reasons,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like for men, it's just like, you can handle whatever. You
Right.
can deal with whatever.
Yeah.
So it don't matter really what comes at you. You don't need to like guard or shield yourself really,
Yeah.
because if it comes at you, you got it. You can deal
Right.
with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
So-
I'm standing 10 toes down. No, sometimes you just need to
Sometimes
sit down.
you can just not go there. You can
Yeah.
just not deal with that, or you don't have to carry that.
Yeah.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Absolutely.
And with men, just learning. I know it's just like you kind of have to have done some work already, but just learning to pay attention and just trusting yourself, trusting your gut.
Okay.
That is like they say that's the first brain, right?
Right,
like
right,
your
right,
gut
yeah.
was your
I've
first
heard
brain,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for men, just finding ways to just like listen to yourself, listen to your body.
Right.
If you're around a chick and you're just uncomfortable, you don't know why you walk in her house, you're like, something don't feel right in here.
Yeah. Get up out of there.
Yeah. Leave, right?
Yeah.
And that just might be that one time, and you could have been wrong, but it's better safe than sorry.
And
right?
No,
it's
for
like you have to
sure, for sure.
practice it. Like
Yeah,
intuition,
little things. Yeah,
you have to practice it.
it's a muscle you can work.
It's a muscle
Yeah.
you can work and you can exercise. And so I always like to have folks like, hey, when you walk into places and spaces or you're around certain people and you start to feel a way, ask yourself, why?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Talk to yourself. Like, be like,
Why?
oh, I'm uncomfortable. Why? Look around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, what is
okay?
it?
Who is making me uncomfortable? And I can always, I don't even have to talk to you. I'm like, oh, you're off. Your energy's off.
Mm.
Why
Yes.
is your energy off?
Yes.
And I might even go talk to you so I can be sure
Yeah.
and double check
I
myself.
need to just make sure.
and be like,
Really?
oh, you feel weird. Let me talk to you for a second.
Discuss. Exactly.
I need less than 5 minutes.
Mhm.
And I can probably be like, okay, no.
That's
Right?
right. But that
Men
also
do the
too-
same thing though. We talk about it on the podcast.
Yes.
Really?
You guys say, every man that has ever come on this podcast and almost every man I've ever listened to can say, I know within 5 minutes if I can marry her or not.
Okay. Yeah.
I know
yeah,
within
yeah.
5 minutes if she's just a jump off and I'm gonna just smash, or if
Yeah.
I can make her into a real relationship.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure.
You
for
guys
sure,
know
for sure,
these
for sure,
things,
for sure.
but
Yeah.
you guys don't call that intuition.
Oh yeah.
You think
yeah.
But
it's
that's
just some-
intuition.
Yeah.
That's your intuition, knowing what
Yeah.
kind of chick it is. So my answer before Alicia answers is just learning to trust your intuition, recognize that you have it and that you've always used it, but just kind of maybe targeting it more and understanding that it's there for you to use and that you can tap into that whenever you want.
Absolutely.
And it's something that your body is going to talk to you. Pay attention to your body. If after you have sex with a girl and you just smell something, don't just think about her. Don't just think about the physical aspect of it.
Right.
Think about the underlying things
the
of that.
spiritual
Because
part.
sometimes it's probably nothing wrong with her as far as STDs or something, but maybe it's just something about her spirit that you're smelling, right? Like,
you don't
so
like.
just paying attention to those little voices that you've learned to tune out, trying to tap back into that, I think helps a lot.
Yeah. I think
my
that's where
answer.
mindfulness comes in too, right? So mindfulness is literally just being conscious and aware.
Right.
And for most humans, but especially men, yes, you're taught to be aware of how to make the money, but you're not taught to be aware of what's happening with your spirit. And we have to understand that we are spirits having a human experience. You are a spirit first, but you are taught that you are a human first when that is not reality. The reality is you are spirit turned flesh. So you came from somewhere. Some people call it God. I call it God, but other people call it source, the universe, the whatever. But your spirit came from somewhere and manifested in this human body. And so being mindful is just being conscious of what you are experiencing. It is asking yourself the why do I feel uncomfortable, or the what do I need in this situation? Why is this uneasy feeling here? Or what can I do to help to ensure that my experiences align with what I need? Because when you are mindful, you move differently because you're not letting just things happen to you. You are instructing them, you are guiding them, you are making a decision that no, or yes, I do want a Lil Wayne song, fuck every girl in the world. However, I am mindful of the fact that that many spirits and that many energies will corrupt the thing inside of me that I need to be able to achieve or fulfill whatever it is that I need. So yes, my flesh wants to, but my spirit knows that that's not good for me, so I'm not going to.
Right.
Did I answer the question?
You did.
I was
you
like,
did.
oh, I was like, did I answer
No,
the
no,
question?
y'all did answer the question.
I didn't remember.
Right,
I
like
felt
because
bad.
essentially what I was asking is red flags. How do we identify red flags? What y'all went into.
My answer was is intuition.
Exactly right.
And
Because
being mindful.
and it is a great answer because red flags will look different in everybody in every situation.
If he didn't answer the phone, that's a red flag.
It's gonna look different.
Sometimes it's a little bit more subjective than we think it is.
Yes,
for
So
sure.
it's just like I'd rather give you a tool that has a more of a scope.
Absolutely.
Right. To
I
help
can't
you.
tell you all the time that this is a red flag, but I would maybe say another thing that's red flag is someone who isn't trying to be better. I think
Or
that's a
someone
major
who
red
isn't
flag.
accountable. Like someone who isn't trying to be better and someone who cannot be accountable.
Right.
Like it terrifies me when humans refuse to be wrong.
Right.
Like, so you mean you expect to go through all these years of living and never be wrong?
Yeah.
Ever? I am afraid of you.
Yeah.
I am
So
terrified.
we always talk about those things.
Yeah.
Because we have an episode called Red Flags.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but it's more in the dating sense.
Yeah.
And, I really want people to understand that, just because that's a red flag for you doesn't make it a red flag for me.
Yes, it's subjective.
Yeah. I think there are some that are obviously
Universal.
glaring for everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, the intuition piece and what I heard you saying is get me curious about, people and the why and their stories and how they were raised and things like that. I think men don't pay enough attention to that with women.
And stop asking what her favorite color is. Oh dear God.
Talk to women about their childhood.
Yes, that's in our book.
Yeah.
Because so in Dating Well AF, we have, and it's a program that helps women to date more in alignment with their desired type of life, lifestyle, and what they want their experience to be, right?
Yeah.
So there's one of the booklets in there where I think it's 25 conversation starters that humans, because men can use them too, but 25 conversation starters to ask deeper questions. You get better answers when you ask better questions.
Right.
And the problem is nobody wants to ask questions because everybody's trying to rush to fuck somebody.
Right.
I get it. Sex is phenomenal.
Amazing.
We like the sex.
We love the sex. However, sometimes the sex can cloud you and you won't ask the types of questions you need to ask because you're so busy trying to rush to a bedroom or to a bathroom or to a backseat car, whatever your thing is, no judgment.
Or backyard.
Or backyard. Listen, whoever, however, I
Porch.
am not judging. Whatever,
Mhm.
have a good time. However,
Mhm.
one of the questions in there that we ask or that we, provide for our students in the program to ask is if you could duplicate or replicate your childhood, would you, and why would you or why not?
Ooh!
When you ask that question, you're not asking about, what are your traumas?
Right.
Ain't nobody gonna answer
People will
that.
clam up.
You gonna clam
My trauma.
none.
Hand me.
Exactly.
My mom was amazing. My dad was amazing. Everybody loved me.
Let's have sex.
Exactly. And what's your favorite color?
Right. Yep. Mhm.
Immediately.
Yeah.
But if you ask someone, if you could replicate your childhood,
Mhm.
would you or why wouldn't you?
That's a nice question.
When you ask questions like that, or hey, what has been the greatest disappointment? This is another question in there. Y'all can go to datingwellaf.com to go ahead and get the
No,
things.
y'all need to go. Not
Yes.
even can. Y'all need it. There's a lot of black women that watch this and listen to this podcast. I know y'all be lurking, pretending like y'all not listening. Get your body over to that site. What is it? Datingwellaf.com.
datingwellaf.com.
Go ahead and go get you them questions. Black men, if you listen, and you can get the questions as well.
Yeah, because y'all need to be asking these questions too.
Those are great. I'm not gonna lie,
Like-
those are great
Because
questions.
you
Oh, yeah.
need to know these things. What has been the greatest disappointment of your life? What was it and how did you respond? Or how did it affect you? Or what hurt you the most about it? And then if you have a man who's not used to opening up, you can start. For me, the greatest disappointment of my life was having to get divorced and raise a child by myself. Greatest disappointment of my life. Why it was so disappointing for me is because I didn't love myself enough to choose a better partner. It's not about him, it's about me. It's not saying he's a bad person. It has nothing to do with him.
Right.
I made a choice. I am disappointed in the choice that I made because if I truly cared about myself and loved myself the way I do now, I would have been able to provide for her a different type of I would have been able to provide for myself a different type of a partner, and then in turn, my child, the type of father that best aligned with what I always envisioned.
That's real, man.
And from there, I have just made myself incredibly vulnerable by telling you my greatest disappointment. And now I have just made this space open for the person I'm talking to also be vulnerable. And a red flag would be if they are unwilling or, I've had no
Or
disappointments. Unable to. Unwilling or unable, both of those, you may want to go a little deeper. Not saying cut them off immediately, but you may want to
Take
go a
your
little
time.
deeper. Yeah, take your time with them. Don't try and rush to the bedroom with them because they can't see ownership or accountability of their actions, and that is a problem.
It's not even, I would need to add a little to that. I wouldn't even say maybe they can't see it. Maybe they're just not even comfortable with like even having
That's
those
true.
conversations. Because a lot of times I have a
Very
clip
true.
that has gone viral before, multiple times actually. Whenever we post it, like it goes viral. And it's just so interesting to me because I didn't think that it would go viral. I thought it was very basic. But what I was saying is like, a lot of times for us as men, we don't have friends that we can have deep conversations with.
No.
So a woman come in and be like, what's your greatest disappointment? I'm like, nigga, no.
Get out my
I
face.
don't want to talk to you about this right now. Can you relax?
That's uncomfortable.
What's your favorite color?
Right.
Let's start. Let's start. Yeah. Right. Let's start there before we start diving into all my, my deepest, darkest secrets. Right. So for us, I feel like sometimes like we may be able to take that accountability, but we don't know if we're comfortable with sharing it with you right away yet.
That's why I say
which is
take
why
your
digging
time.
the deep, exactly. Take your time,
dig a little deeper.
and digging deeper is very, very, very
Yeah.
important. Man, y'all look good, man. Oh my gosh, this has been a really. I'm not just saying that to make y'all feel good. I'm being very serious.
I can tell with your body movements and emotions and feelings. No,
having a
you
good
mean
time.
this.
I'm
You
having a
mean
good
this.
time. I'm having a good time. I can't lie. I'm very authentic on here.
We're having a great time.
Yeah,
this
we
is this
are.
has
We
been
are
a
loving
really,
this.
really good episode.
We got to do this in person.
Yeah, for real.
You might need to have us at your event.
At the
in
event.
New
Listen,
York.
I'm
just
the invite will be
saying.
sent.
It might.
The invite will be sent. Like I said, I'm trying to make it free, so as long as y'all can pull up, y'all ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? And then get some food in
We
you.
are willing to support.
Pull up.
At least I can't speak for you. Can I
am,
support?
yes,
oh, okay.
yes,
I just had to
we-
ask.
Okay. All right. Listen,
we speaking
you pull
French
up
now.
with your smoothie recipe. Don't put a butter. leave peanut butter out because I don't know about that kale and spinach. We might have to, you know what I'm saying, make some adjustments before we get there. Maybe we have a little smoothie thing.
Do a
at the event.
demonstration.
Yeah. A
I
little
love
blender.
that.
We have a little, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? For the folks that listen to this podcast episode, they'll know.
And you can maybe partner with a supermarket or a farmer's market to have them give, you know, packs of whatever you decide needs to be in there to each person who comes so they can have their smoothie recipe that they can make when they go home.
Hold on real quick, Alicia, because I know I'm going to forget that. So let me, in real time, one of the things that I do all the time, I don't pretend like I'm going to remember stuff. And I literally have a note for the event right now and ideas. And so I'm going to just go in here and write that down.
Yeah, because imagine what it would be like.
Smoothie
Yes, because you
ingredients.
said six things. Now, I don't remember all six, but you said 6 things that they need to focus on, one of which is their physical health. So that can be a way that they get to take home something that can help to nourish them physically, because it's the catalyst, it's the spark that gets them to make different changes. You can eat well and still eat good.
You just gave me a fire idea.
Listen, they keep coming.
You know how you got at the events, they give you like swag bags and it's always something that you just gonna go home and throw away.
A lot of the time.
Maybe they'll throw away my bag too, but it'll actually be something of substance. I'm
Yes.
thinking about that. What you just gave me is really fire. Like, one thing in the bag for one aspect of your holistic wellness.
Oh, yes. And they
Real
can use it.
intentional.
Yes, and
love
then
that.
too, you can have it so
That's a
that since
great
there are
idea.
6, areas that
you
you
should
have
get 6 things,
for
6
6
different
weeks
sponsors, or
afterwards, if they are, let's say, a VIP member or a certain ticket holder or whatever, member of your community, for 6 weeks afterwards, using the products in the bag, you actually use them to work on it that week. And then now what that does to your sponsors is it shows them it's not just the event. We're also going to be working with you beyond the event throughout these 6 weeks with these virtual experiences. We'll have this number of people on. Sorry, y'all, I'm a brand strategist.
No, please keep
so
going,
I do
keep
this
going.
A lot.
Sorry, keep going. I need. I'm writing
I'm
down.
just saying,
I'm writing
but
down.
those are, ways that you can, or things that you can do so that you're actually achieving the results that you want. It's not just a one-day thing where they feel really, really great, but now, okay, this is what the work looks like to actually put it in.
My gosh. Okay. Listen, there's one thing that I wanted to go back to that you said that really reminded me of something that happened to me when we talk about intuition.
Okay.
So I want to tell a story real quick
Okay.
to bring home the whole intuition thing.
Okay.
Because I had an experience where I had a university reach out and they were like, we would love you to come do our keynote. I was like, okay, great, this is great. Like, I'm keynote, people gonna be there, I'm gonna get paid, this is great. Then, but it was like the week before the event. So immediately in my head, I'm like, y'all don't have a keynote speaker a week before the event? What kind of event is this?
Right.
Somebody fell out.
I'm
Not
like,
good.
and I'm like, all right, I'm the backup.
Yeah, and
So,
that's
all right,
cool.
that's
I'll
all
come
right.
stand in the gap.
The bag is the bag. I gotta get to the bag, as we know. I'm a man, right? So I don't care. It is what it is, right? But in my head, I was like, bro, I don't know about this, bro. Something was telling me.
This ain't it.
Something was telling me, bro, all money ain't good money, bro. This may not be it. But I'm like, yo, I'm not in a position right now to be turning down
This ain't-
money.
no,
I
I
need to
get
get
it.
to the bag.
I get
You
it.
know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
bag is presenting itself.
Then I gotta get
So we get through everything, contract signed, which is normally the biggest issue, especially with universities, because legal, oh my God, bro. Legal team be taking forever. Nonetheless, they sign the contract, everything's good. I get out there, do the keynote, everybody loves it. I'm like, yo, we in the clear. I don't even know what I was tripping about. I was bugging.
Did they give you that 50% though before you got on site?
No, I didn't get that. One, and then here's what happened, right? After I do the talk, I get an email, a long email, like 4 paragraphs long. One of them emails, you're like, oh, let me sit down and like, you know what I'm
Here we
saying?
go.
Yeah, let me sit and read and comprehend. this.
Right.
Right. Bro. Yeah, the students loved it. Everybody loved it, but administration didn't like the fact that you were talking about spirituality, but you kept saying like you're gonna pass through it, but you spent more time on spirituality, and we didn't like the fact that you mentioned your platform at the end. Like, you should have mentioned that afterwards. I'm like, bro, did y'all bring me here to talk about my stuff? Or what are we talking about?
What was the reason?
You should have mentioned all of this beforehand so that we should know. And I'm like, bro, you know we only had a week, right?
Right.
We obviously rushed through some things.
Right.
Is that my fault
Right,
that y'all
right.
hit me up a week ago? But nonetheless, I'm saying all this to say, right?
Yeah.
If I had trusted my intuition, which was telling me, yo, bro, this ain't right.
Yeah.
Something is wrong here.
Right.
If I had trusted my intuition, I would never been in that experience. And it's not like it was the worst experience in the world, but it did
It's still a lesson.
cause me, it caused me to lose my, not sanity, but my peace for a little bit. Because for a couple of days,
You were like questioning
It was
yourself.
late.
I was
Like,
questioning myself. I was like,
Yeah.
bro, should I change my keynote? Should I not talk about these things? Should I speed up the part about spirituality and make it shorter?
Yeah.
Even though that's a big part that I feel like we don't talk about enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm questioning all these things because of this email. And the way that they present the email, it's like it's constructive criticism, but it's not really. There's a way in which you give somebody constructive criticism
Yes.
without destroying the way that they feel about themselves.
Sandwich method.
You know what I'm
okay?
saying? Like, yeah, like there's a way in which you do it, but I felt like the way in which they approached the whole situation wasn't really healthy and it wasn't really in my best interest. And I also offered to like talk with the parties involved. And of course they was like, nah, we good. We so busy right now. We have events that we're planning and all this. I'm like, yeah, I don't really care then.
Right. You just
Y'all
need
really
to let
don't-
me know.
Yeah,
You
I
wanted
just
to
wanted
vent.
to, you really just wanted to vent. And it's like, bro, so anyways, that was me venting nonetheless. But
That's okay. We
I'm
all need to
explaining
do
that situation because I want people to understand, like, yo, sometimes you'll put yourself in situations that you think are good,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not really good for you, and your intuition beforehand will let you know. Like,
Yeah.
it will let you know. And if I had trusted my intuition, I wouldn't have been in that situation. And they ended up paying me late too.
Yeah.
All of that, I do the keynote, get paid late. I
And
get
you got all these
You
complaints.
emailing me all these complaints. Where's my money?
Right, right. Right.
Pay me that
Where
complaint.
is my
Listen,
Yo,
email
I
me
listen to
the
whatever
UPS
you
tracker
need to-
number to the check.
Where
That's
is my
not what you
check?
email me.
I'm hitting them up with follow-up remind. Yo, bro, listen, you know, it's been a couple of days, 30 days, you know, we're supposed to be in that 30. What's up?
We had net
Still ain't
60.
get-
I need us to figure this thing
Bro.
out.
But your intuition was talking to you.
My intuition was talking to me. So when I got that check, I brought it to the crib, framed it, it's on my desk in the crib. Not because of the amount, but because it's a reminder whenever I'm in a business deal or a partnership, you know, whatever, I look at that and I try to trust my intuition about what I'm feeling about the person that I'm working with,
Good.
Mm.
You should.
regardless of the amount.
Yeah.
Because I feel like oftentimes for us as men, we will sacrifice how we feel about something because we feel like the result will be what we think we need to be a man.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like, okay, the result is some money, so I'm gonna sacrifice how I feel about this thing,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna just go get the bag, even though I know it's not really the best for me.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really important for us to have reminders, whether it be a check, frame check, or whatever the case may be, or whether it's us reminding ourselves about past situations,
Yeah.
so that we can trust our intuition.
Yeah.
It's like if you have a situation for like the folks that are like, yo, I knew I shouldn't have went to that event, or I knew I shouldn't have did this or that. That should be your reminder next time to not discredit your intuition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for real,
Trust
man.
it. And then to add to that,
Yeah, what's up?
a little nugget
Mhm.
is, and my husband and I talk about this all the time because I feel like he's really good at this,
Mhm.
is do your due diligence.
Yeah.
That's something that, especially a lot of young people, I feel like we let that fall by the wayside. It's like,
Skate over
do the research on top of the research, ask the questions.
Yeah.
As like, don't be afraid to like double check, triple check, quadruple check. Like how you were like, oh no, let me check your micro fast. Like you
Yeah.
need to just like, it's okay to take that extra step to
Yeah.
find out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
if you did a little research on a university, find out another keynote speaker that spoke there. What was their experience? Like
Right.
there are ways to kind of, if you don't quite trust your intuition yet, I would say do your due diligence on things that you feel sketchy about.
Yeah.
And do the research and ask the questions and find out if there's another way to get information
Mm.
if you don't trust yourself enough and the information that you're giving yourself. Due diligence is a good kind of like buffer
Right.
to kind of still get you where you need to go without, it takes a little bit more effort, obviously.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you do your due diligence, sometimes that can also give you the response and the information that you need
Right.
to make better decisions.
Right. For sure. Man, This has been really good, honestly. I keep saying that, but
Yay.
I'm being very honest. Like, I really
So
have
I loved it.
enjoyed this episode. Can you tell the people where they can find y'all, how they can support, be as long-winded as you need to be. Like, this is your moment to really, you know, promote what it is that you got going on before we get out of here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you can stay connected with me at the Dani Bordeaux in all the places.
How
You
do we
can
spell
go-
Bordeaux?
Oh, Bordeaux is Bourdeau, kind of like the wine, but no X. And you can go to triggeradfpodcast.com to stay up to date with our latest episodes. You can go to triggeradfevents.com to see what we're coming to a city near you and all the things we have going on. You can go to datingwellaf.com to purchase our ebook and the things that we have around dating. It's one of those things that we realize when we talk to our friends that we just don't know how to date. No one teaches us, right? So we are here to help you with that. So you can also go to Triggered AF Podcast on Facebook and go to Triggered AF PC on Instagram.
Exactly. You can stay connected with me everywhere, all over at Alicia Reese. That's spelled Alechia, last name Reese, Reese. Y'all don't laugh at spelling of my name. My parents knew I would be unique, so they spelled it as such. And also, too, when you visit triggeredafevents.com, there is a program there called the 7 Agents of Change. If you are having a difficult time figuring out how to make lasting change in your life, these 7 easy steps in that program will literally transform your entire life's experience. I went from being born with rats around my head to literally speaking all over the world, from Australia to South Africa to all over the US and even in Europe. Why? Because I got really, really good at mastering the art of change, and that program shows you exactly how to do it. So we hope to see you there.
Listen, y'all, I'm gonna be very honest with y'all. I do not, after people give their like outro of like what they do, I never follow it up with anything. I just like, all right, cool, and the episode right there. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Y'all, if y'all are here, still listening, please take your fingers, go to your phone or whatever you're on, and go to Triggered AF, go to the podcast, search it up. I've searched it up. You're gonna find it wherever you are, and subscribe, and make sure y'all follow these women on their socials and go to the websites that they mentioned. I have enjoyed this episode. I am sure there's more content that you guys can enjoy and really find value in. So please support. We have enough podcasts where there's a lot of bashing and not enough education and insight. This is not that. So please support the stuff that you guys say you want to see more of so that the people can make more of it. That being said, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you are planning an event or you are part of your organization's Black employee group and you are interested in having dope Black mental health professionals or myself come in and do a speaking engagement or a workshop or a keynote address or a panel, please click the link in our bio on Instagram or TikTok, scroll down and click book us for speaking and brand deals and fill out the form available on our website. Once you fill out the form, one of our team members will get back to you about how we can collaborate and create something dope for your organization. This is an unparalleled opportunity. We are currently the largest Black men's mental health platform, and we have a few slots available for our calendar year, and we would love to partner with you to create something dope for your organization if it makes sense for both parties, right? So go to the link in our bio, scroll down, click book us for speaking and brand deals, and fill out that form. If you're not on Instagram, the link should be linked in our description of this episode. And it is also on our website. If you go to expressyourselfblackman.com/speaking-brand-deals. That's expressyourselfblackman.com/speaking-brand-deals. If you are looking for a therapist, a Black therapist, and you've had a hard time finding one, you've jumped from therapist to therapist, or you just don't know how to find a therapist, we are teaching a free webinar. It's completely free, taking you from not knowing how to find a therapist, not knowing where to search for therapists, struggling with finding good therapists for you, not knowing what to look for in therapists, teaching you all of those different things, and also giving you the opportunity at the end of the webinar to be connected with one of our safe haven healers who are Black mental health professionals so that you do not have to go through the struggles of finding a Black therapist alone anymore, right? So if you're interested in that, you want to get connected with a Black mental health professional at the end of the webinar, or you just want to learn how to find a Black therapist by yourself, you can sign up for the free webinar. It's linked in our bio on Instagram and TikTok. You just click that free webinar link once you click the link in our bio and fill out the form. You can also find it on our website at expressyourselfblackman.com/links and fill out the form there for our next webinar session. If you're not interested in any of that, right, but you know someone that may be interested in it, all we ask is that you please share it. If you want some of the merch that we show on the platform all the time, that we're wearing on the platform all the time, you can shop it at shop.expressyourselfblackman.com. And once again, we just want to say thank you so much for watching this episode. Thank you so much for supporting us. Please, if you are on YouTube, leave a like, subscribe, comment. If you're listening to this on an audio platform, please leave a review. It helps us out greatly. Thank you so much for your support. We're wishing you nothing but the best and sending you and your family and your loved ones love and light. Peace.
Sometimes I know you feel like you ain't got nobody to speak to. A shoulder to lean on somebody you could preach to. No, you need to hear it, my brother, I love you. We got way too much to live for.